Welcome to a special episode of Tricks of the Trademark with me, Eric Pelton. On this special episode, we're celebrating our 25th year as a boutique trademark law firm with 25 special episodes featuring 25 tips. For the finale of this series, celebrating our 25th year as a firm, I wanted to share 25 top tips that I've learned or shared along the way. A lot of them are based on wisdom that is commonly available and out there, but it's had a meaningful impact for me or for the way we talk and educate others about trademarks. So let's just kick it off. First is that technology is great. Technology is part of what allowed me to launch the firm in 1999 by building a website and competing to get in front of the eyes of business and brand owners all over the country, and was really the initial foundation that helped to build the firm. But in using technology, which we use in so many ways in our firm, we also are very, very aware that the human touch can be more important than ever. So we're always making human contact with our clients and working to provide real service that cannot be automated or done by a machine. Perseverance. Perseverance has been key to my career, to building the firm through economic good times and bad times and strange times and lots of other things. And perseverance can also be key to a brand and getting through the trademark registration process. Don't be a perfectionist. Yes, when it comes to applying for trademarks, for doing work in disputes and proceedings, we are very, very careful and perfectionist. But in many other ways in life and in business, we have to accept that being very, very, very good at something and being able to do it and move on is an extremely valuable tool. And so for me, being a perfectionist can sometimes be a drawback, right? Because we can get sucked into one thing for so much time and lose sight of all the other things. So I actually like to strive to not be a perfectionist. Similarly, sometimes slower is better. Usually, of course, we're trying to get things done as quickly, efficiently as possible for our clients, and we're trying to get the trademarks registered as quickly as possible. But sometimes going slow actually is helpful to the registration process or to whatever else is involved. And we have to sometimes step back and realize that. An important thing we've learned along the way, it does not matter how much money you have. Big businesses can get trademark registration, small mom and pop businesses can get trademark registration, and they get the same bundle of rights. And in fact, next tip is that small businesses actually benefit from the registration more because they don't have the other tools, namely deep pockets at their disposal, to deal with headaches, issues, disputes, infringements when they come up. So registration is even more valuable for them. Also, another key thing we've learned along the way with our clients is that it's better late than never. Sure, it would have been great if a brand that launched 5 years ago had registered their trademark from the outset, but if they haven't registered yet, they're better off registering it now than a year later or not registering at all. Better late than never. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. This is a phrase used often in the military, and it's also applicable to the trademark registration process. Knowing all the details, planning for it as much as possible upfront in preparing the application is immensely valuable. That's something we've really honed in on over the years. Beware of scammers. Unfortunately, this is high up on the list because we have to advise clients literally every week and sometimes every day about the different scammers that are trying to take advantage of them because their trademark information is in the public records. Brands are some of the most valuable assets that a business owns. Yes, a business may own real estate. It may own employees who are tremendously valuable. It may own patents or other intellectual property, but the brand itself is one of, if not the most valuable asset for many, many, many businesses. Think about what a detriment, what an impact it would have if a brand had to change the name altogether. Give back. You get even more than you give when you give back. We've strived for many, many years to give back in a whole lot of ways, whether it's mentoring law students or junior attorneys, whether it's our pro bono programs or other different ways. We've always strived to give back, and that's something that's very meaningful to our values here. Nonprofits have brands too. This is something that's important because a lot of times when I talk with people who are inside of nonprofits, they don't necessarily think of their brand in the same way that a corporation or business would. But of course, in order for the nonprofit to do its outreach, to collect money, to help its members, to do all of these things that it's involved in, it has a brand that is central to its operations, and that should be protected as a trademark, just as any business name should be protected. When it comes to trademark registration, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. We have a whole graphic and separate video where you can learn more about that. Practice what you preach. This one is near and dear to me. You would be astonished at how many other trademark law firms don't even have their own brands protected and registered. We have a portfolio of over a dozen trademark registrations, and we are very cognizant of our own branding because we like to practice what we preach. Bold brands leave lasting impressions. On the flip of that, boring brands don't get very far. A bold brand name is much, much, much better to make an impact in a marketplace. Suggestive trademarks are my favorite. They're not way out of left field and completely arbitrary or random. They're not overly descriptive and harder to protect and weaker. They're in the middle. They're creative, but they give a hint or a suggestion about what the goods or services are. Think big. Every business, when it starts and launches, should prepare for the eventuality that they become tremendously successful and well-known and plan their brand accordingly, build it on a solid foundation. When teaching, and I've been fortunate enough to teach webinars, law students, other attorneys, and elsewhere over the years, when teaching, I learn too. Teaching keeps me on my toes, and I really feel like I'm getting as much out of it as I hope the students are. The return on trademark investment, or ROTI, is a tremendous value. What I mean by that is by investing in trademark protection, you're getting more than you spend out of it because of all the benefits of trademark registration, of building a strong brand, of trademark monitoring, and other trademark investments. Speaking of trademark monitoring, if you discover infringement, acting quickly makes it much, much easier generally to deal with such a situation. That's an important tip. When it comes to trademark applications and trademarks, they are an art as much of a science. Yes, they're part science in that there are known elements and rules and specifications, but there is as much of an art and nuance that goes into it that interacts with the science of it. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. I think this quote comes from Ben Franklin. I think Ben Franklin actually inspired several of my tips, it turns out. What I mean by this is I keep learning to get better. There's always new things to learn and ways to improve. Just within the last month, I've been to at least 2 conferences and numerous webinars. I'm always investing in learning and growing. Finally, we're down to the last 2, which are very important to me. Watching clients' brands grow and succeed over time is the most rewarding part of what I do. Oftentimes we're working with brands before they even launch and seeing them launch and grow and become successful and make a difference for their clients and customers and grow in value and economic success is tremendously rewarding and tied to the importance of trademarks in that growth and success. And finally, we have for many, many years used the sunflower metaphor and been saying that we've been making trademarks bloom since 1999. And that metaphor, we still believe, is a tremendous one in numerous ways. At its core, it's because when properly planted and tended to, a trademark grows from a seed to a beautiful, vibrant flower, just like a sunflower. So, those are 25 little tips or nuggets of wisdom that I've learned and shared over the years. I hope you've enjoyed that. You've just listened to another episode of Tricks of the Trademark with me, Eric Pelton. For lots more episodes, videos, content, links, blog posts, and more, visit our website at www.ericpelton.com.